This glass right here, just an ordinary Carlsberg glass with a handle, is one of my favourite possessions. And the simple reason why is because technically it belonged to Rob Halford. And I have a little bit of a fascination for having things that other people might miss. So I first learned of this feeling within myself back in year 4. We were doing this like a show and tell type thing. You didn't have to do it. Only a few kids did that day. And one of those kids was my best mate at the time, called Miles. And he sat to one side of me and the other in class. The class was kind of a wide room with 3 rows. We were sat in the middle row, bang in the centre of the class really. And his family was sort of middle class, rural types. In other words, they went out hunting and shooting game and such. So he brought in one day a shotgun shell. It was a used shotgun shell as a show and tell. And obviously this was the late 90s, and so you know you got your Tomb Raiders, you got your Metal Gear Solids, your Resident Evils and all that. All of the boys in the class, myself included, just swarmed on Miles and were just passing it around like it was, you know, the holy bloody grail. I decided right there and then, in that moment, to hatch the best heist of my life to date. Later on that day, we're sort of in the first or second class following that, and he's got it out, pride of place on the table, just sat there for everyone to see because, you know, he's proud to have this thing in the school. And I go and sharpen my pencil over by the door, and I know that Miles is also going to come up and sharpen his pencil in a moment. So I make sure to finish before Miles gets back. And as I'm walking down the front of the table, I just casually give a little, like that, into my open pocket of my trousers. So it's like I have my right hand there, left hand. Without anyone seeing, I just walk, don't even look, casually slip it in, against my hip, down into the pocket. Miles comes back and notices straight away that it's missing. By this point, I'm tying my shoelace up, i.e. I'm sliding it down my sock and deep to the bottom of my shoe. I completely get away with it, take it home, put it next to my TV in my bedroom. Great. And every single day, Miles suspected everyone in the class, myself included. He knew that I was the person who was closest to where it was. He knew I was a person who had the timing and everything together. So he suspects me, and he suspects just about everyone else in the class. And he keeps coming up and asking everyone in the class and asking the teacher if it's turned up. Well, a week goes by and he stops doing this. And then another week goes by and I'm no longer getting that rush that I was getting every single day when he was coming in and asking about it to me and everyone else who would listen. That's when I say to him, by the way, that shotgun shell that you brought in, it was me that took it. I just said it simply because I wanted to have that feeling again of, I have something that you're after. It's not the best feeling as a person, but at the age of 9 or 10 or however old I was, it was, it was pretty exciting. Anyway, that kind of ruined everything then, because once again, he was coming up and asking me every day for the next week, where is it? But eventually he started getting his older brothers to come down from secondary school, and I was pressured into giving it up pretty quickly. Flash forward a couple of years later, and we got this guy living with us called Sean. Sort of a troubled kid who, like troubled teenager going on, sort of young adult, who had a bit of a rough upbringing. My dad sort of took him in and, gave him a job and all that. I might have a fascination with, a little bit of contraband here and there. Would never hurt anybody, especially if it's nothing too valuable. This guy Sean, on the other hand, was very much into, the 90s, right? Nicking car stereos, that was a thing. Nicking cars, nicking people's handbags, and he would frequently get in trouble with the police back then. And around this time, he is living, this is about 99, 2000, so I'm in year 6 now. And around about this time, Sean is actually living in a makeshift bedroom in our attic, which hasn't been, equipped properly. It's literally just an extension cord going up there and a sleeping bag on some board and some lights. And among these lights, there was one that I particularly liked. So after a few months of living on our attic, he up sticks and just leaves, just gets out and doesn't say anything. We don't know where he's gone. We haven't got a forwarding address. We don't know why he's gone. We assume he's got in trouble and has moved on. Suddenly it's my job to go up to the attic and take everything out that he left. And I get to keep some of it as well. Some lava lamps, some ashtrays. It was just all kind of stuff that I thought, oh, this would be really grown up to have in my room. But among all of these was my favourite possession of his, which then became my favourite possession. It was a Red Bull lamp, like sort of goes behind a bar, sort of a big rectangular backlit glass panel lamp. Again, late 90s, so Red Bull was very sort of new and hot and trendy at that time. And I knew that he'd stolen it from a pub. Therefore, it went in my room and every day it would be lit up. And I was just like, oh, this is great. I have something that someone in a pub is looking for. I know that, he just sort of walked behind the bar and took it.
Well, I mean, it was all lit up. It's like they wanted us to go in there and nick stuff. But
I know which pub it comes from and that they're still looking for it. This is brilliant. It's in my room and I'm never going to have to confess to anybody. I just have it. And so, yeah, that became my favourite possession for a while. So, yeah, there's been a lot of instances of this over the years. And mostly it's just little things. But, yeah, let me go forward to this one. This isn't really the same kind of deal. I mean, this my wife took from Rob Halford's pub in Berlin quite a few years back. There's a simple tradition in England. It's a very basic tradition. If you go to a pub, especially an interesting pub, take a glass. This is especially true if the drinks are overpriced. And I've got to say, in the UK we have a law which is like, you can go to any establishment and ask for tap water and they have to give it to you for free. In Berlin this law doesn't exist, but Rob Halford is English. And so I would have imagined his business model would allow for at least cheap glasses of water to have between your beers so you don't get too fucked, basically. But no, 50 cents of water. It's expensive, mate. So yeah, we put this in a bag at the time and walked out of there. And that's how we've taken it. That was back in 2017. So we've had it the past 4 years. Yeah, I'm not the same now, I should point out. As much as this is still kind of a fascinating thing to see other people do, it's always fascinating to see like that guy in New York who recently discovered that he had a Roman mosaic as his tabletop, and then it only gets revealed by knowing people who know this stuff. That kind of stuff really fascinates me. Anything where it's archaeological, especially anything where it's got a history to it and then it shows up years later. Yeah, it's not something that I actively do anymore. And I say this not just to cover myself. I'm borrowing my boss's acoustic guitar at the moment over the Christmas period. Don't worry, you're getting it back. But I want to know if there's a name for this, because it's not like a kleptomania or anything. It's not like I actively want to steal. It's more like I just find it very exciting and interesting and enticing to have things that people are looking for. If there's a name for that, if you're the same, anything like that, just please let me know, because I feel a little bit weird when I think about it. But I mentioned this to my wife and she thought it was hilarious. Well, that was my first sort of anecdote-based video in a long time. Bit of coffee time here. Like, comment, subscribe, all that other stuff. Especially like the comments. Subscriptions are nice, likes are nice. But yeah, please, you know, say hi and let me know if you experience any of this stuff yourself. And with that, see you next time.